You didn't imagine it, I interrupted your thoughts. In moments when you weren't praying, I was still answering. When you were surrounded by people but suddenly felt distant from everything, that was me calling you into stillness. When you couldn't explain the inner shift, the strange hunger, the subtle ache that followed you through your daily routines, that wasn't confusion. That was me separating you. Not from the world, but for something greater than the world could ever offer you. This isn't emotional drift. This is a spiritual summons. I have been marking you inch by inch from within, and now the invisible work is ready to be revealed. You don't need to pretend you're fine anymore. I know the layers you've wrapped around yourself just to keep going. You've smiled in rooms that didn't deserve your light. You've adapted to environments that were never meant to hold you. And you've tolerated patterns that quietly strangled your joy, not because you were weak, but because you didn't want to cause disrupt. Ion. But hear me now. I didn't create you to survive smallness. I didn't design you to shape-shift for acceptance. The places where you feel misaligned aren't failures. They're signals, sacred reminders that you were made for something beyond what your environment reflects. Something holy is awakening inside you. A stirring, a pulse, a divine echo. You haven't lost your purpose. It's just been hidden beneath layers of survival instinct. But I am peeling those layers back, not to expose you, but to restore you. I never stopped speaking. You just got used to filtering my voice through the noise of expectations. You quieted your sensitivity so you could function. But now I'm reactivating it. I'm reintroducing you to the sound of me. Not in chaos, not in performance, but in stillness. I am the one who names you in silence and marks you in secret. And I don't call what I don't intend to use. Your name, the one I gave you, carries more than identification. Carries assignments. Carries realms. Carries timing. And now it carries activation. I am speaking that name into the spirit right now. Not the one people recognize, but the one heaven remembers. The one tied to your original design. When I say it, nothing remains dormant. What was overlooked begins to rise. What was buried begins to breathe. Because when I call, I don't speak to what's visible. I speak to what's true. You don't need to rush to understand this moment. You only need to remain present in it. I'm not asking you to figure it all out. I'm asking you to yield. To release your grip on what feels safe but is slowly suffocating you. I'm asking you to trust me with the parts of yourself you've never fully trusted with others. Not because they were unworthy, but because they simply couldn't see the weight of what I've placed in you. But I do. I see it. I see you. And I've never once changed my mind about what I placed in your life. The reason you felt the dissonance, that strange low-burning ache, is because you've outgrown the place of hiding. It once protected you, but now it confines you. It once helped you survive, but now it limits your expression. And so I'm calling you forward. Not out of pressure, not out of demand, but because it's time. It's time to remember what it felt like when you used to dream. It's time to reconnect with the passion you shut down for the sake of log. I see. It's time to rise, not in reaction to pain, but in response to promise. I'm not intimidated by your questions. I'm not offended by your hesitation. And I'm not rushing you to perform something you haven't fully received. I only ask that you come near, that you don't turn away now, that you don't dismiss the way your spirit has been catching fire in quiet moments. That burning isn't anxiety. It's not nostalgia. It's not emotional imbalance. That's me calling what's eternal within you to attention. That's your name, the real one, being spoken again from the throne. Don't be deceived by delay. Delay is not denial. It's formation. I've used even the detours to deepen your roots. I've used the silence to increase your sensitivity. I've used the tension to sharpen your discernment. And I haven't wasted a single piece of your journey. You're not behind. You're not late. You're right where grace has brought you. And grace is now guiding you forward. This isn't about being seen by man. This is about being aligned with heaven. It's not about proving yourself. It's about remembering who you are without the mask. I called you by name, not the name culture shaped, not the name trauma echoed, not the name fear whispered in your ear at night. I called you by the name I wrote into your spirit when the earth was still formless. And when I call, nothing can ignore it. Not time, not pain, not disappointment, not even you. Come out of hiding. The call is not public yet, but it is personal. I'm not placing you on display. I'm drawing you into depth. This isn't a spotlight. It's an unveiling. You are stepping into the realm of the invisible where your spirit hears before your mind fully understands. Trust that tug. Trust that fire. Trust that what you feel right now is not your imagination. It's me. I never forget who I call, and I never misplace who I mark. You are mine. You don't yet see yourself the way I do. I watch you wake up with a quiet ache, already bracing for the day's battles before you even leave your bed. I see how quickly your mind fills with thoughts of what needs to be done, who you need to be strong for, and all the things you've convinced yourself you must fix, manage, or hide just to hold your world together. But, my child, I need you to know I never asked you to carry the weight of being everything for everyone. I only asked that you stay near to me. You've been harder on yourself than anyone ever could be. You measure your progress through the lens of pressure. You believe you're only valuable when you're useful, only loved when you perform well, only wanted when you have something to offer. But I didn't. Choose you because you were impressive. I chose you because you are mine. My love is not a transaction. My love is not seasonal. My love is not a reaction to your behavior. It is the foundation of your being. I want to tell you something that may surprise you. I delight in you. I find joy in your presence, even in your confusion, even in your weakness, even when you think you've failed. I don't merely tolerate your emotions. I understand them. I know how deeply you think. I know how much you feel. I know how fiercely you try to hold on when everything around you feels uncertain. You are not too much. You are not too complicated. You are not a burden. You are exactly who I formed you to be. And nothing you've walked through has disqualified you from being fully seen, fully known, and fully loved by me. When you stand before the mirror and see only cracks, I see gold running through every fracture. When you think you're falling behind, I see the timeline of your life unfolding exactly as I planned. When you wonder if you've missed your chance, I'm preparing something that doesn't require chance at all. Only surrender. The moments you think were wasted, I redeem. The years that felt empty, I will fill. The tears you cried alone, I have stored like treasure. Not one drop is lost to me. You've measured yourself by how consistent you are, how strong you can remain, how much you can produce without breaking. But I never asked you to be unbreakable. I only asked you to bring me the pieces. Because I'm not building something despite your brokenness. I'm revealing myself through it. You keep asking me to use you once you're healed, once you're whole, once you're sure. But I use the oil that flows from the crushed place. I speak through the wound you once tried to hide. I move in the very place you thought was unworthy. So let me be clear. I'm not ashamed of your story. I'm not disappointed in your pace. I'm not distant because of your questions. I'm closer now than you know. I'm leaning in, not away. I'm calling you deeper. Not because I demand more of you, but because I want to give you more of me. The closeness you long for is not something you need to earn. It's already available. I've already made room for you. Not just at my table, but in my heart. You don't have to fix yourself to come close. You don't have to pretend you're okay. You don't have to recite perfect prayers or impress me with discipline. All I want is honesty, real presence. The vulnerable kind of presence where your tears are prayers, where your silence is sacred, where your weariness is not an obstacle, but an offering. Bring me that version of you, the undone you, the tired you, the uncertain, fragile, honest, raw you. That's the one I already know. That's the one I already love. And let me tell you a mystery. The very version of you that feels furthest from purpose is the version I'm about to breathe upon. The you that feels unseen is the one I'm drawing into visibility. Not for the world's approval, but for heaven's alignment. I'm not promoting you into attention. I'm planting you in revelation. You don't need recognition. You need remembrance. Remembrance of who I've always said you are. That's what I'm awakening now. That's what I'm whispering in every quiet moment. I'm not asking you to be stronger. I'm asking you to be still. If only you could see how I smile over you, how I defend you in rooms you'll never enter, how I speak your name in heavenly places and angels respond, how I've set ambushes for the lies that have tormented your mind, how I've assigned purpose to every battle you didn't understand. You are not random. You are not forgotten. You are not behind. You are my beloved and everything about you matters to me. So come closer. Don't pull away now. Let go of the voice that says you have to be perfect before you're welcome. Let go of the fear that says you'll mess it all up. Let go of the guilt that keeps replaying your past like a broken record. That is not my voice. That is not my heart. I speak better things over you. I call you worthy. I call you chosen. I call you established. And most of all, I call you mine. This is not a demand. This is a gentle invitation. I don't want to use you for what you can do. I want to walk with you for who you are. This is not about ministry. This is not about calling. This is about connection, about the nearness that changes everything. If you'll come close, I'll show you what peace really feels like. If you'll stay near, I'll restore the wonder you lost. And if you'll let me have your heart, I'll give you back your name. There are things you've lived through that even you can't fully explain. Moments that fractured you in places too deep for language. Seasons that drained your soul so completely, you stopped asking why and just started surviving. You didn't choose the pain, but you learned to carry it. You learned to show up with a smile even when you felt like crumbling inside. And somewhere along the way, you began to wonder if maybe I had turned my face away. If maybe the silence meant I had stepped back. But today, I want you to hear me clearly. I never abandoned you in the pain. I was closer than your breath. I was holding things together that would have broken beyond repair had I not stepped in. Even when you couldn't feel me. You see, pain has a way of distorting vision. It blurs what's true and amplifies what wounds. It tells you that you're alone, that no one sees, that nothing will change. But I want to rewrite that narrative now. Not to erase your pain, but to reveal its hidden purpose. Because yes, I allowed it. Not to harm you, never to harm you. But to refine, to separate, and to awaken what comfort could never produce. I know that's hard to receive. But listen, if I had let you remain where you were, surrounded by everything that numbed you, you would have missed the unveiling of who you really are. I don't cause suffering, but I redeem it. I don't take pleasure in your breaking, but I know how to bring beauty from it. What looked like loss was actually the clearing of ground for new construction. What felt like abandonment was an invita. Tying into a deeper trust. The detours, the closed doors, the relationships that didn't survive the journey, they weren't failures. They were removals. I was pulling away the scaffolding so your foundation could be rebuilt in TR. And yes, I know it hurt. I know how much you loved, how much you hoped, how much you gave, only to feel like you were left with nothing. But I never wasted a moment. I collected every tear. And I was working even then. Do you remember the garden, Gethsemane? The place where my son, Jesus, wept blood from the weight of surrender? That wasn't just a moment of agony. That was alignment. That was the place where his yes in suffering became the doorway to redemption for all humanity. And in your own way, you've walked through a Gethsemane season, a place where not. King made sense, but your soul still whispered, I trust you. That whisper was louder in heaven than you realize. That obedience, even in your sorrow, moved me. I allowed the shaking to reveal what cannot be shaken. I allowed the silence to awaken the sound of my voice within you. I allowed the breaking to bring you into the truth that you are not what you lost and you are not what hurt you. You are not the missed ache. You are not the divorce. You are not the diagnosis. You are not the failure. You are not the rejection. You are mine, and everything I allow, I redeem. I permitted delay to grow patience. I permitted betrayal to awaken discernment. I permitted isolation to teach you the depth of my companionship. You wanted the pain to end quickly, but I was forming a strength in you that only prolonged. Deep pressure could produce. The oil I'm releasing from your life didn't come cheap. It came through the crushing. And now the fragrance of that oil will begin to change every room you enter. You will no longer walk in silently. You will carry the weight of someone who has survived fire and still smells like heaven. Don't believe the lie that the pain broke you permanently. It broke the shell. It broke the illusions. It broke the dependency on things that could not hold your soul. But you, the real you were being revealed, and what emerged from that season is something that can no longer be manipulated, silenced, or ignored. You know now what matters. You see now what is real. You hear me more clearly because of it. That is the inheritance of your sorrow. Pain became your teacher, not because I wanted you to suffer, but because I wanted you to see beyond the surface, to know the value of peace not rooted in circumstance, to recognize me when no one else. He remained to build your faith on rock, not on sand. The collapse of what was familiar was not the end. It was the unveiling, the place where you realize that even if everything falls, I don't. You've come through more than most will ever know. And I want you to hear this with clarity. There is no shame in your scars. The world sees them and wonders what went wrong. I see them and call them evidence. Evidence that you didn't quit. Evidence that you kept walking. Evidence that the darkness didn't win. You are still standing, and you are stronger than the day the pain began, not because you forced your way through it, but because you let me hold you inside of it. You may never get an answer to every why, but I promise you this. The glory that's coming will silence the ache, not by erasing the past, but by revealing how it all worked together to bring you her. To this moment, to this clarity, to this call. I called you by name because I knew the whole story, every wound, every chapter, every storm. And still, I said yes. I still chose you, and I still will. Now listen closely. There are things moving in the spirit on your behalf that you cannot yet see with your eyes, but your spirit is beginning to feel the tremors. This is not your imagination. It's alignment. I have set things in motion that were dormant for years. What fell forgotten was not denied. It was simply reserved for this exact moment in time. What you thought you missed, I was holding for you. What you thought was lost, I was preserving. And now the time of release is drawing near. You have asked me for signs, and I have given them. Not always in the way you expected, but they were there. The sudden disconnections, the strange restlessness, the feeling that things around you know longer fit. These were not random. They were markers, prophetic signals that your spirit is entering a new realm of awareness and authority. You've been feeling the tension between what is and what's coming. You've sensed the quiet but undeniable pull towards something you can't yet define. That's me. I'm not pulling you away from peace. I'm pulling you toward it. The real kind. The kind that comes not from ease, but from alignment. The doors that once remained shut without explanation are beginning to respond to the weight of my word over your life. I've issued instructions in the invisible that will begin to manifest in the natural. I'm raising voices in rooms you've never entered. People are thinking of you, speaking your name, making decisions that will affect you even though you haven't been present. That is not coincidence. That is favor. It's not based on performance. It's rooted in obedience. The kind of obedience you offered me in private when no one saw your faithfulness. I saw it and I am rewarding it. Not as a transaction, but as a revelation. A revealing of what I had already declared to be yours. This is not the beginning of my promises. This is the emergence. Like a seed breaking through the soil, the breakthrough is happening in stages. Quietly at first, then suddenly. And just like the earth knows how to respond to rain, your life will begin to respond to what I've already released from heaven. The delay wasn't punishment. It was protection. The pause was not rejection. It was preparation. Do not confuse my silence with inactivity. I have been working beneath the surface, aligning people, resources, timing, and even obstacles to serve the narrative of my glory in your life. Yes, even resistance is part of the story. What fought against you will now be used to highlight what I'm about to do through you. The pressure you endured is about to turn into power. The warfare you survived is about to reveal your anointing. And the fire you passed through? It refined you. It sanctified your motives. It purged the distractions. It made you ready. And now I speak this to you. You're about to see the evidence. Not vague hope, not emotional optimism. Evidence. Open doors that no man can shut. Relationships divinely placed, not manipulated. Opportunities you didn't chase, but that found you because they were written into your destiny. Provision that has no logical source but arrives with perfect timing. Peace that settles on you like oil even when circumstances don't make sense. These are not mere comforts. These are confirmations. Signs that the word I spoke over your life is in motion. Pay attention. There will be moments that seem small, but they will carry the sound of something greater. A conversation, a thought that won't leave you. An idea that stirs again after years of silence. These are signals. I am awakening vision again, not just to give you direction, but to remind you that I trust you with revelation. You are not just a follower of promise. You are a carrier of it. I've placed it in you not just to receive, but to release. And soon, what I've planted in secret will bear fruit in public. You've looked around and seen others step into what seemed like their moment. You've celebrated them even when it hurt. I saw that. I honored that. And now your time is near. Not to compete, not to compare, but to complete what I've written into your life. This isn't about proving anything to anyone. It's about walking fully in what was always yours. But now, the soil is ready, the timing is aligned, and your spirit is mature enough to carry it without being crushed. And no, it will not come with striving. You will not have to force it, manipulate it, or chase it. It will come through peace. The kind of peace that only rests where surrender has already made space. The kind of peace that is not passive but powerful. The mark of someone who knows their source. So prepare. Prepare not by doing more, but by listening deeper. Prepare by uncluttering your heart from the noise of comparison and the weight of regret. Prepare by trusting that I've already made a way, even And your eyes haven't seen the road. Prepare by receiving, not because you feel worthy, but because you are chosen. The invisible things I've promised you are becoming visible one by one, step by step, layer by layer. Watch how I move. Watch how I fulfill. Watch how I keep my word. You will not have to beg for what is already yours. You only need to stay aligned, stay near, stay willing. The shift is not coming. The shift is here. Now that you've heard me, now that your spirit has responded to the stirring, you must know this isn't only about what I'm doing for you. It's about what I'm doing through you and what I'm building in you. Faith cannot remain abstract. It must now become flesh, embodied in how you move, speak, think, decide, rest, and wait. This is not just about feeling me. It's about following me even when you don't fully understand where the path H is going. And to follow me now will require more than emotion. It will require intentional rhythm. Start here. Make space for me on purpose, not only when life collapses, not only when pain drives you to cry out. I want to meet you in the stillness you choose, not only in the storms that force you to pause. Say, your atmosphere to host my presence. Turn down the volume of voices that drain you. Protect the sacred hours not with obligation but with desire. Let the first part of your day belong to me. Before you reach for your phone, before the noise of the world floods your thoughts, let my voice be the first you seek. I'm not asking for perfection. I'm not waiting for you to be a master of spirit. UAL discipline. I'm inviting you into rhythm, into consistency, not out of duty, but intimacy. A place where the scriptures aren't just studied, they're heard. Where prayer isn't a performance, it's a place. Where you don't pray to be seen, you pray to be anchored. You don't open your Bible to check a box, you open it to eat. Your soul needs more than motivational quotes. It needs the bread of heaven. From now on, your decisions must align with the word I've spoken, not the emotions you feel in the moment. When you're unsure, pause and ask me. I will lead you, not always with loud answers, but with deep peace. Learn to discern peace, not as a feeling of comfort, but as confirmation. And when peace lifts, pay attention. That's often how I speak. I will trouble your spirit before I allow you to step into what's not yours. I will disturb your comfort to protect your calling. Do not force doors open. What is from me will not require compromise. My blessing will never require you to sacrifice your integrity or identity. Begin to ask me to make you sensitive to my whispers. Invite me into the small things. I am not just the God of miracles, I am the God of moments. I want to walk with you in every step, not just in the breakthroughs. Talk to me while you work. Include me in your thoughts while you walk, while you drive, while you wait in line. I am not far off. I'm as close as your next breath. And the more you acknowledge me, the more aware you will become of how present I truly am. Obedience is no longer optional in this season, not because I want to control you, but because I want to entrust you. I am giving you access to promises that carry weight, and that weight requires STR. Akshar. You cannot carry my promises casually. You must steward them with reverence. This means letting go of what weakens you, walking away from what dilutes your hunger, refusing to entertain conversations that darken your clarity. This season requires sharper discernment. Not everything that is good is God. Not everything that is available is aligned. Even in your relationships, I will begin to separate. This is not cruelty, it is clarity. I will highlight who is called to run with you and who is only meant to walk with you for a time. Stop trying to drag old loyalty into a new level. Love does not mean you must remain attached to every person who once knew you. Some people are tied to your history, but not your destiny. Let me do the pruning. I promise you, what I remove, I will replace with better, with stronger, with more aligned. Guard your heart like a gatekeeper, not from fear, but from purpose. You can no longer afford to let everything in. Words, images, voices, distractions, they have more impact than you realize. Your spirit is sensitive, and that sensitivity is a gift, not a flaw. It means you hear me more easily, but it also means you must protect what you expose yourself to. Holiness is not religious performance. It is sacred alignment, and you are being called to walk in it with joy, not pressure. Trust also the power of rest. Stop measuring your value by how productive you are. Stop overextending yourself in the name of being available. Your worth is not attached to how much you do. It's found in who you are when you are still. Let me teach you how to receive again. Let me show you how to rest without guilt. Rest is not inactivity. It is spiritual warfare. It is the refusal to live under fear, demand, and constant striving. When you and me, you declare with your life, God is enough. Faith must now become the framework of your rhythm, no more compartmentalizing your spiritual life from your emotional or practical life. I want wholeness. I want integration. I want you to walk into rooms carrying peace, not just praying for it. I want you to make decisions not from fear of lack, but from trust in my provision. I want your calendar to reflect your calling. I want your finances to align with generosity. I want your daily movements to reflect that you've heard me and that you believe what I've said. This is how you prepare for what's coming, by living like it's already begun. Because in the Spirit it has. Let me speak to what was broken in you by words that should never have been spoken. Let me reach into the places where lies were planted and disguised as truth. Let me place my hands on the identity that was fractured by comparison, rejection, failure, and silence. Because I never needed you to live half alive, torn between who you were told to be and who you truly are in me. I created you whole, and even now I am restoring you to that original design. You've worn many names that didn't belong to you. Names forged in disappointment, whispered by insecurity, reinforced by seasons that taught you how to shrink yourself. Names like too much, not enough, failure, forgotten, invisible. You heard them so many times, in silence, in absence, in conflict, that you began to adopt them as your truth. But today I strip them off you. Every label, every lie, every false agreement that distorted your reflection. I remove it now, in the authority of my voice. Because when I call you, I don't speak to who the world shaped. I speak to He you I made. And here is what I say. You are mine. You are chosen. You are marked. You are holy. You are significant. You are anointed. You are worthy, not because of what you've done, but because of what I've declared. You were never created to compete for love. You were born from it, formed in it, saturated with it, before anyone on earth ever laid eyes on you. And I have never stopped loving the real you, the version that shows up without a mask, without a title, without needing to prove anything. You've tried to earn what I gave freely. You've tried to fix yourself before letting me hold you. You've tried to become better before believing you were beloved. But I never required improvement before intimacy. I've always wanted your heart raw, open, vulnerable. The parts you've tried to hide, I already see. The pain you've minimized, I already felt. The fears you've buried under performance, I've already dismantled. I'm not waiting for you to impress me. I'm waiting for you to believe me. And here is what I want you to believe. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too far gone. You are not too late. You are not cursed. You are not forgotten. You are not just hanging on. You are being rebuilt. Every shattered piece is being gathered into the hands of the potter. Every memory that tried to define you is being rewritten by mercy. Every scar that once screamed shame is becoming a testimony of survival and glory. There is more inside you than even you can see. Depths that were buried beneath survival. Beauty that couldn't bloom in toxic soil. Strength that never got a chance to breathe. But I am tilling the ground of your soul. I am removing what choked your joy. I am silencing the echoes of past pain that tried to convince you your value was conditional. You are not valuable because of your usefulness. You are valuable because I made you in my image. And I called you by name before you succeeded, before you failed, before you even believed it yourself. Let go of the identity that trauma taught you. Let go of the narrative that disappointment wrote for you. Let go of the roles you adopted to keep people comfortable while you stayed wounded. You don't have to carry the weight of pretending anymore. I know who you are. I see you past the image. I know your quiet strengths, your hidden dreams, your fierce loyalty, your sensitive spirit. I know the tenderness you try to protect from the world. I know the tears you refuse to let fall. And I honor it all. You're not weak because you feel deeply. That sensitivity is your gift. That empathy is your mantle. That burden you carry for others is not a flaw. It's an indicator of how deeply I trust you with the unseen. You're not here by accident. You've been placed intentionally, prophetically, precisely in this generation for such a time as this. And now I'm calling the real you to rise. Not the one shaped by fear. Not the one driven by approval. Not the one who learned to minimize herself just to avoid conflict. I'm calling the you that knows me. The you that carries my DNA. The you that was hidden but never lost. You are not defined by who walked away. You are not defined by what didn't work. You are not defined by the worst moment of your past. You are defined by my spirit living in you. You are defined by the cross that paid for your restoration. You are defined by the blood that speaks better things over you. And no voice, not even your own, can overrule what I've declared. Let me remind you of your posture. You do not walk beneath heaviness. You walk beneath grace. You do not move forward begging for scraps. You step into rooms as an heir. You don't have to explain yourself to be accepted. You are already accepted in the Beloved. And no weapon formed against your identity will prosper. Because your name is written in the hands of the one who cannot lie. Now lift your head. Not in pride, but in awareness. You were never meant to stay small in spirit. You were born to carry glory. You are not invisible. You are in transition. And soon, even you will begin to see what I've always seen in you. The image of heaven. Walking the earth in full authority and full love. Now that you've been reminded of who you are, now that the truth has begun to unravel the lies, there is a necessary response. Not in effort, not in striving, but in devotion. Because revelation without rhythm fades. Encounter without discipline grows cold. I'm not inviting you into religion. I'm calling you into rhythmic communion. A life that no longer separates sacred from ordinary, but finds me in both. A life where intimacy with me becomes your strongest weapon, your safest place, you. Our clearest lens. Let me speak plainly. You need to return to the altar. Not the one made of stone, but the one made of stillness. The altar of your bedroom floor. Your early mornings. Your interrupted thoughts. The place where you come not to perform, but to present yourself. Open, honest, surrendered. Build me a meeting place again. Carve out time not as a leftover, but as a first fruit. Give me the beginning of your day, the center of your heart, the core of your choices. I am not demanding perfection. I am desiring presence. I long to walk with you, speak with you, and teach you in the quiet. But you must return to the quiet. Set an appointment with me daily, even if only for a few minutes. Make it intentional. Come with no script. Bring your Bible, yes, but more than that, bring your spirit. Come not to master a passage, but to be mastered by my word. Let Scripture become more than information. Let it become impartation. When you read, ask me, what are you saying here? What does this reveal about you and about me? Don't rush through the verses. Pause. Meditate. Speak them aloud. Let them echo inside you until they rewrite the patterns of your thinking. My word is not distant. It is alive, and it wants to live in you. In prayer, stop trying to impress me. I already know your heart. Come to me the way a child comes to a father who is safe. Speak freely. Tell me where it hurts. Tell me what you don't understand. And then wait. Let silence be a part of your prayer life. Don't fear it. I speak inside of it. Let your tears speak. Let your sighs speak. I don't need polished prayers. I want present ones. I want the version of you who doesn't try to manage the conversation. Let's move beyond formula. Let's build friendship. Worship me not only with music, but with lifestyle. I see worship in the way you treat others, in the way you forgive quickly, in the way you speak truth with love, in the way you choose integrity when compromise feels easier. These are your songs to me. Your purity is worship. Your generosity is worship. Your gentleness, your restraint, your courage, they rise before me like incense. I am not only watching your words. I am watching your ways. Let your life become a sanctuary I can dwell in. I also want to give you new habits. Some of what you've struggled with isn't just spiritual. It's structural. You've asked me to remove anxiety, but you keep feeding it with constant noise and unhealthy rhythms. You've asked me for clarity, but you scroll through chaos and wonder why your D feels numb. So I say this in love. Guard your inputs. Protect your gates. What you see, what you hear, what you entertain. Not out of fear, but out of reverence. You're not fragile, but you are sensitive, and that's holy. What you consume will either dull your spirit or char. Pen it. Begin a fast, not for attention or applause, but for alignment. Set aside something that consumes you, a food, a platform, a habit, and give that space to me. Let your hunger remind you that I am your source. Let your discipline realign your appetite. Fasting is not punishment. It's recentering. It is choosing to remember what matters most. Be intentional about community. Isolation feels safe, but it breeds distortion. You need people who remind you of truth, who pray when you forget how to speak, who see the gold in you when all you can feel is dust. Ask me to send you covenant friendships, and while you wait, be that for someone else. As you give, you make room to receive. There will be days when you feel nothing. Do not let that convince you I'm gone. Consistency is not always emotional. Some days obedience will feel dry, but every seed planted in faith is seen. I bless the consistent. I move through the faithful. I build through the willing. Even if you only have 10 minutes, give them to me with your whole heart. I do more with little offered in love than much done in pressure. Also, I want you to rest. Truly rest. This is not just about productivity or prayer. This is about your health, your mind, your body. I care about all of you. Make time to breathe, laugh, be still, lay down the addiction to doing. Rest is not lazy. Rest is worship. Rest says, I trust God to be God when I step back. And that kind of trust is holy. Finally, stay humble, stay soft, stay teachable. I will begin to reveal more, release more, and entrust more. But you must never let the gift become louder than the giver. I will elevate you, but your posture must remain low. Let me correct you quickly. Let my voice remain louder than praise or criticism. Let your heart stay in the soil of surrender. This is how we walk together, not just in the mountaintop moments, but through the mundane, the daily, the unseen. You've asked me to move. I am moving. Now I ask you to move with me. Hear me clearly now, for I speak not in symbols, but in spirit and truth. The shift has already begun. What you have felt in the quiet places, that rising sense that something is coming, that something is turning, it is not wishful thinking. It is not emotional noise. It is a signal, a spiritual indicator that what has been concealed is about to be unveiled. You've waited long. You've endured in silence. You've been faithful with little, and you've asked me in secret, God, will it ever be my turn? And today I answer you, yes, it is time. I'm calling your name publicly in the spirit realm. What was and why heard in private now echoes in places your feet haven't yet touched. The environment around you is shifting to make room for the weight of what I'm placing on your life. No more delay. No more circling the same places, reliving the same questions. The season of rehearsal is over. This is the time of release. There is acceleration coming, not chaos, but divine flow. Doors you didn't knock on will open. Conversations you didn't initiate will begin. Dreams you buried years ago will resurface with new relevance. And things you thought were over, things you assumed were missed opportunities, will return to you with new timing, new favor, and new authority. This is not a recycled blessing. This is a fresh outpour. Yearning. And I say this to you prophetically. Your name is being whispered in rooms where decisions are being made, rooms of influence, alignment, and inheritance. I am moving in people's hearts to remember you. To find you, to invite you into places that once felt beyond your reach. Not for status, not for show, but for kingdom purpose. I will restore to you the years that felt lost. What the enemy devoured, I will repay. Not with just what was taken, but with interest. You are stepping into a multiplied harvest. Every season of sacrifice is poured into this moment. Every quiet yes, every hidden obedience, every tear-soaked prayer, I have counted them all. And now I return them to you as waves of fulfillment. But I also say this. Be ready for the unfamiliar. I am not just returning what you've seen before. I'm doing something you haven't imagined. You've asked me for restoration, but I'm releasing reinvention. You've asked me to repair the old. I'm birthing the new. Do not grieve what I remove in this season. Some things must fall away to make space. Some structures, connections, and patterns cannot carry what is coming. Trust me with the detachment. Trust me with the transition. I'm about to surround you with divine appointments. New people, new places, new instructions. Some of them will make no sense to your natural logic, but your spirit will recognize my fingerprint. Follow peace, not comfort. Move by revelation, not routine. I will make it clear and I will confirm it. You will not walk in confusion. My word over you will not return void. You will see it and you will know it was me. You've grown in silence. You've matured in hiddenness. And now I say you are ready. Ready not just to carry the promise, but to protect it. Ready to steward, to speak, to shift atmospheres. Ready to lead not with ego, but with oil. Ready to love without fear of rejection. Ready to walk through open doors without questioning your worth. You are ready because I say so. Not because you feel it, but because I have declared it. This will be a marked season. A year of visible difference. The before and after will be undeniable. You will look back at this moment as the turning point. The place where waiting ended and walking began. And I release this specific word. Your name is not just being called. It is being established. in families, in regions, in atmospheres. I'm putting your voice in position not just to speak, but to carry presence. I'm giving you language for what others only feel. You will bring clarity to confusion, healing to memory, direction to those lost in the fog of delay. This is not just personal. It is generational. What begins with you will ripple beyond you. So do not be afraid. When the invitations come, when the opportunities appear, when the door opens that seems too good, do not second guess. Do not shrink. Do not sabotage the moment I created for you by clinging to an identity I already healed. You are new. You are rising. And heaven is in agreement. I have called you by name, and now I crown you with manifestation. Now my spirit comes, not as an idea, not as a force, not as a concept, but as person, as presence, as breath. You've heard me speak, but now I want you to feel me move, not outside of you, but within. Not above you, but through you. Breathe slowly now. Open wide the spaces you've kept guarded. Let down the walls you built to survive. Let the tension begin to melt from your shoulders. Let the tightness in your chest begin to loosen. This is not imagination. This is not emotion. This is encounter. And in this holy silence, I come close. I'm not in a rush. I'm not offended by your hesitation. I know how long you've waited for something real, something deeper, something beyond the words and into the wait. I know what it cost you to hope again. And I honor that risk. But now surrender. Not to pressure, not to fear, but to me. My spirit is not looking for performance. He is drawn to truth, to open hearts, to honest questions, to rooms where nothing is staged and everything is real. And I say to you now, you are that room. Let me flood you. Let me fill every chamber of your heart that has been empty too long. Let me reach into the places where even you stopped looking. The places where disappointment left bruises. The places where love was interrupted. The places where confusion settled like dust over your soul. I am the spirit who renews. I am the spirit who revives. I am the fire that does not burn you, but awakens you. I come to heal what no words could. I come to silence the static in your mind. I come to clear the fog that made your future feel blurry. My presence doesn't just comfort, it transforms. This is not a temporary feeling. This is a permanent shift. From striving to resting, from doubting to trusting, from wandering to dwelling. I speak now to the residue of trauma. I wash it off you. I speak to the fear of being seen too closely. I melt it with my love. I speak to the places in your body where anxiety has lived. I release peace. Not surface peace, not polite silence, but deep, cellular peace. The kind that rewires how you breathe, how you process, how you wake up in the morning. My child, you don't need to feel ready for this moment. You were born for this encounter. The pain you walked through prepared the soil. The waiting created the hunger. And now I answer not just with clarity, but with companionship. I'm not here to visit. I'm here to dwell, to make your soul my sanctuary. I will sit with you in the quiet. I will walk with you through your day. I will lead you through the unfamiliar path. You will not be alone anymore. Not even in the corners of your mind where no one else has access. I have access and I am gentle with you. I know what the inside of you looks like. I know where the broken edges are sharp. I know where shame tried to hide. I know where dreams were sealed off to avoid more disappointment. And I say this with holy tenderness. You are safe with me. You can unlock those doors. You can show me what you're afraid of. I am not here to judge. I am here to restore. And restoration is not a return to how things were. It's the unveiling of how things were always meant to be. I am not rebuilding the old version of you. I am releasing the original you, the eternal you, the one formed in the quiet breath of my design. The one who never had to earn love, the one who walks without shame, the one who speaks from identity, not insecurity. Feel the weight of me now. Rest your thoughts. Let tears come if they need to. They are sacred. I'm catching every one. I'm answering without needing you to explain. This moment is the response to the prayer you couldn't find words for. This is the healing you didn't even know how to ask for. This is me touching the invisible, changing the unspoken. You will not leave this moment the same, not because you tried harder, but because you allowed me in. This is the encounter your soul has waited for, not loud, not forced, just real, just holy, just min. Remain here as long as you need. My presence does not expire. My love does not run out. And what I've started in you, I will finish. My spirit is your guide. My breath is your strength. My presence is your home. You have heard my voice. You have felt my breath. You have seen with the eyes of your spirit what cannot be unseen. And now I say to you, walk as one who has been with God. You are no longer wandering in identity. You are anchored in truth, no longer drifting through the noise, but moving with intention, clothed in the whisper of my presence. I have sealed this moment, not with emotion, but with covenant, not with excitement, but with eternal agreement. What you received is not temporary. It is not just a word for the day. It is a commission for the season. You are not merely comforted. You are activated. You are not simply healed. You are reclaimed. From this day forward, you will sense it, a shift in how you carry yourself, not in arrogance, but in awareness. You will feel the ground respond differently to your steps because authority now walks with you. The weight of my word is now in your mouth. You will speak differently, think differently, move diffier. NTLY, not because you're forcing it, but because I've awakened what was always inside you. Every lie that once defined you has lost its grip. Every fear that once whispered limitations is now silenced by truth. I have renamed you in the spirit, and heaven now echoes that name. I have broken off shame. I have shattered the illusion that you are late, forgotten, disqualified, or replaceable. You are mine, and no power in hell can alter what I have spoken over you. Now go with confidence, with clarity, with calm. You have been sent. You have been seen. You have been changed. And I go with you. Amen. Share this message with someone walking through a hidden season, someone who needs to know God sees them, calls them, and still has more for their life. Leave a like to let this message continue to reach. ING hearts quietly crying out for clarity.